Hello, viewers and subscribers. Welcome to Blackford's Art of Learning. During today's lesson, we will be focusing on evaluating an argument. Let me go ahead and share my screen. The standard of focus today is RI 7.8. So welcome to middle school. Let's begin with our learning pathway. Today's quote is, "Strive for progress, not perfection." Today, students will need a pencil, computer, ELA notebook, and an iReady textbook. Now, let us take a look at today's standard, which is RI 7.8. It says, trace and evaluate the argument and specific claims in a text, distinguishing claims that are supported by reasons and evidence from claims that are not. The word evaluate means to judge or assess the worth of. A statement that answers the question is called a claim. The word evidence means facts and or information presented as support. Example quotes, statistics, graphs, etc. The word reasons means justification for a claim, argument, or logic. Here are two anchor charts that we will use to support our lessons. So in this bubble, you can see trace and evaluate. And there are 4 important words that we're going to need to know in order to understand our standard. So in your ELA notebook, I want you to make notes of these 4 words. Go ahead and pause the video so that you can take notes. The word reasons means statements made to explain a belief. Claim means writer's position, problem, or issue. Support means reasons or evidence that helps prove the claim. Evidence means specific reference, such as a fact, statistics, quotation, or opinion that is used to support a claim. Questions readers can ask to analyze arguments. What is the claim being made? Is there one central claim? Does the text give different perspectives or claims on an issue? What reasons are given to support or substantiate the claim? What's the evidence to support those reasons? Now, let us watch this video. It's an instructional video which will give us more information about evaluating arguments. Please feel free to take notes while you're listening to the video.
Hi. Today, we're going to learn how to trace and evaluate arguments in informational texts. I know, that might sound a little boring, but trust me, it's actually really cool and important. By the end of this video, you'll be able to distinguish between claims that are supported by reasons and evidence, and claims that are just made up. So, let's get started. When we're reading an informational text, it's important to understand the author's argument. To do this, we need to look for the main claim or thesis the author is making. Think of it like this: if you were making a persuasive speech, what's the big idea that you want to convince your audience of? That's your thesis or argument. In a text, it might not always be obvious what the author's argument is, but don't worry. We can still find it. Just ask yourself, what's the point the author is trying to make? Now that we know what the argument is, we need to evaluate the claims the author is making to support their argument. A claim is simply a statement the author is making to support their argument. But not all claims are created equal. Some claims are backed up by reasons and evidence, and some aren't. So, how do we tell the difference? Well, think about it like this. If someone says, "I know aliens exist, because I saw one in my backyard last night," you'd probably be skeptical, right? That's because there's no evidence to support their claim. But if someone says, "I know aliens exist, because of this study conducted by NASA that found microbial life on Mars," you might be a little more convinced. That's because there's evidence to support the claim. In the same way, when we're reading an informational text, we need to look for evidence to support the author's claims. If there's no evidence, then we need to be skeptical of that claim. Let's take a look at some real-world examples. Example number 1. Eating fast food is bad for your health. Now, this is a pretty common claim, but is it supported by evidence? Well, there have been numerous studies that have shown that regularly eating fast food can lead to health problems, like obesity, high cholesterol, and heart disease. So, in this case, the claim is supported by evidence. Example number 2. Drinking coffee makes you taller. This one is a little more, out there. But let's evaluate it anyway. Is there any evidence to support this claim? No, there isn't. So, we can be skeptical of this claim. So, there you have it. By tracing the argument and evaluating the claims in an informational text, you can separate the fact from the fiction. And, who knows, you might even learn something new along the way.
Okay, boys and girls, I hope you have listened and you have made your notes and you have learned something new about evaluating arguments from this video. Can you share any important point that you took away from this video? Okay, so from this video, it is evident that evidence is essential in supporting a claim. There must be evidence to support a claim. One point that the video showcased was that eating fast food is bad for your health. And in the video, they also gave evidence to support this claim, such as obesity, which is caused by eating fast food, high cholesterol, and heart disease. Now, boys and girls, here is a list of academic vocabulary. I want you to take a few minutes to review these academic vocabulary. Please make notes in your ELA notebook of those vocabulary that you are unfamiliar with or you just need more information about. Go ahead and pause the video. I would like to gather your prior knowledge of evaluating arguments. You will use this Padlet to share what you already know about evaluating arguments. For example, you click on the link on your student slide, then you click on the plus sign and you can go ahead and share with everyone your prior knowledge. So for example, So one person might submit this answer. By evaluating an argument, you state your position on the topic. So go ahead and pause the video and submit your response on the Padlet. Now let's learn a little more about it. We will use a quick pre-assessment to learn more about evaluating arguments. Now you're going to read this very simple paragraph, and then you're going to answer these two questions. What is the author's point or claim in the paragraph? And what evidence does the author include to support their point or claim? Go ahead and pause the video as you work. So the paragraph reads, Steve Jobs created innovative electronics such as the iPod, iPhone, iPad, and Mac computers. He has built a reputation for his products, selling nearly 75 million iPhones alone. Apple sells the best electronics out there. Now, what is the author's point or claim in the paragraph? What is the author trying to tell us? What is the author's position? Yes, if you said Apple sells the best electronics out there, you are correct. That is the author's claim. Okay? Now, what is the evidence that the author uses to support the claim? Yes, this sentence that says Steve Jobs created innovative electronics such as the iPod, iPhone, iPad, and Mac computers. Also, the second line or sentence which says he has built a reputation for his products, selling nearly 75 million iPhones alone. Those two sentences are evidence to support the claim. Okay. All right, boys and girls, we are going to go into our lesson, our reading activity, and I'm going to be using a picker wheel to choose students at random to read different sections of our text on evaluating arguments. So let's do that before we begin our lesson. So Prudence will be reading for us first. So let's pretend that we have a Prudence in our class. So before we go into our text, here are some key vocabulary words that you will need to know in order to understand the text. So you're going to pause the video and you're going to make notes of these key vocabulary terms. Please record them in your notebook because you're going to see them throughout the text that we're about to read. So on your student slide, you're going to click on evaluating an argument. If you do not have access to a computer, you're going to use your iReady notebook on page 173 to page 171 to 173. Let's go ahead and click, and then you're going to type your name. And then Prudence was the person selected on the picker wheel. So Prudence, please read. Lesson 17, evaluating an argument. When you hear the word argument, do you picture people involved in some kind of shouting match? That may be what some arguments look like. But in writing, an argument is a text that explains why an author's position on an issue is valid. When building an argument, a writer makes one or more claims or statements he or she believes to be true. Then the writer backs up each claim with the evidence or information that supports the claim. Part of figuring out the strength of an argument is determining whether there is enough evidence to support the claim and also whether the evidence does in fact act as support at all. Read the following from an argument about solar-powered cars. First, circle the claim. Next, underline evidence. Finally, cross out any information that does not support the claim. So we're going to read the paragraph, and then we're going to circle the claim, underline the evidence, and cross out any information that does not support the claim. It says dedicating research money to the development of affordable solar-powered cars would be a wise investment. First, solar cars would help end our dependence on fossil fuels like oil and coal, which contribute to the pollution of our atmosphere. In addition, solar power is a renewable resource. Unlike fossil fuels, it will never run out. Solar cars would also help the consumer save money. Panels attached to cars can collect sunlight and turn it into electricity, so no one would ever need to buy another tank of gas. Finally, solar-powered cars would also come in all the same colors as gas-powered cars. So it says, read the chart below to see how the author constructed the argument. You can read the paragraph again if you would like. You can pause the video. So let us look at the chart. We have a claim, and then we have 3 supporting evidence. Based on the paragraph, the claim is that research money should be used to develop affordable solar-powered cars. So that's what the author is trying to tell us, that they should use research money to develop affordable solar-powered cars. 3 evidence. Number 1, solar-powered cars would reduce pollution from fossil fuels. Evidence 2, solar power is a renewable resource that will never run out. And evidence 3, solar-powered cars generate electricity, so they don't need gas. All right, thank you for reading, Prudence. Let's move on, and we're going to select one additional person. Pretend that we selected Jane to read. So Jane is going to continue the reading. Now we have some words that we're going to look at before we read this section. The word pollution means the presence in or introduction into the environment of a substance or thing that has harmful or poisonous effects. Solar energy means radiant energy emitted by the sun. And geothermal energy is heat generated and stored in the earth. So bear those terms in mind. From a From a Generational Challenge to Repower America by Al Gore. What if we could use fuels that are not expensive, don't cause pollution, and are abundantly available right here at home? We have such fuels. Scientists have confirmed that enough solar energy falls on the surface of the earth every 40 minutes to meet 100% of the entire world's energy needs for a full year. Trapping just a small portion of this solar energy could provide all of the electricity America uses. And enough wind power blows through the Midwest corridor every day to also meet 100% of US electricity demand. Geothermal energy, similarly, is capable of providing enormous supplies of electricity for America. Now, it says underline facts in the text that relate directly to the claim, then complete the graphic organizer. Okay, so what is the claim in this text? The claim is we should use fuels that are cheaper, cleaner, and more easily accessible than foreign oil. So what are some of the evidences from the text that support this use of cheaper, cleaner, and more accessible fuel? Let us go ahead and highlight those in the text. Okay, so let's highlight the evidence. Solar energy could provide all of the electricity America uses. So that's one cheap way. Enough wind power blows through the Midwest corridor. And also geothermal energy similarly is capable of providing enormous supplies of electricity for America. So those are the evidence that we will use to support. So evidence one, we could say that solar energy and wind power can meet the world's energy needs. So okay, so that's evidence one. Evidence two, the other one that we found was here at the end, geothermal energy is capable of providing significant amount of electricity. That's another evidence. Okay. All right, let's move on and pretend that we selected somebody again from our picker wheel. And we're going to ask Sam to read this next section. But before we do so, let us look at the key vocabulary terms that we may see in this section of the text. Renewable energy, that's energy from a source that is not depleted when used, such as wind or solar power. The word initiative is an important act or statement that is intended to solve a problem or the right or power to begin or initiate something. The word linchpin, a person or thing vital to an enterprise or organization. The quickest, cheapest, and best way to start using all this renewable energy is in the production of electricity. In fact, we can start right now using solar power, wind power, and geothermal power to make electricity for our homes and businesses. But to make this exciting potential a reality and truly solve our nation's problems, we need a new start. That's why I am proposing today a strategic initiative designed to free us from the crises that are holding us down and to regain control of our own destiny. It's not the only thing we need to do, but this strategic challenge is the linchpin of a bold new strategy needed to repower America. So, we have a multiple choice question. How well does the author support his claim that the best way to begin using solar, wind, and geothermal power is to make electricity? So let's go back to the text. How does the author support his claim? Okay, so we're going to highlight the section that we think supports the claim. This section that says, in fact, we can start right now using solar power, wind power, and geothermal power to make electricity for our homes and businesses. That supports the claim. Another one, let's look for another one that supports the claim. So we could use this section. Free us from the crises that are holding us down and to regain control of our own destiny. That also supports the claim that the best way to begin using solar, wind, and geothermal power is to make electricity. All right, let us go ahead and read the options that we have. How well does the author support his claim that the best way to begin using solar, wind, and geothermal power is to make electricity? We're going to use a process of elimination to arrive at our answer. So we are going to eliminate those answers we know are wrong. So let's start with choice A. Look at choice A. Do you think that one is correct? Choice A says he supports it well because the energy crisis is holding us back. So choice A is incorrect. Saying that the energy crisis holds us back doesn't explain why the best way to regain control is to use renewable energy to make electricity. So let us look at choice B. He supports it well because he proposes a new energy strategy. What do you think? So choice B is also incorrect. Gore is proposing a new energy strategy, but doesn't explain why this way is the best. So let's cross that one out. Let's look at C. He supports it poorly because he does not say why this way is the best. Yes, that's what we have been saying. He does not say why it's the best strategy. So let's leave C and we can come back to it. Let's look at option D. He supports it poorly because these energy sources are not actually forms of renewable energy. We know that is definitely incorrect because solar, wind, and geothermal power are all forms of renewable energy. So this is incorrect, and our correct answer is C. So good job thinking that one through using our elimination strategy. Now let's show our thinking. It says, look at the answer that you chose above, citing text evidence, explain why you chose this answer. So why did we choose the answer? Okay. Pause if you want to think about it, pause the video and think about why you chose C as the answer. So Gore claims that solar, wind, and geothermal power can provide a quick, clean, and cheap solution. That's what the text keeps referring to, right? So these renewable energy, they can provide a cheap solution to the nation's energy crisis by providing electricity. But as we have been saying, he gives no facts, no reasons or evidence as to why listeners should believe this is true. So that is why we chose that answer. So let us go ahead and type our response. Okay, so you can go ahead and record your response on Classpeak, or if you're using your iReady notebook, you can record your response. So we have come to the end of our whole group lesson. Good job participating. Now you're going to move on to your small group activity. And you're going to work on this activity for small group bike share programs. You're going to work in your groups to read this text and answer the question. While in your small groups, you're going to use this cooperative learning strategy. You're going to choose student 1 and 2. Student 1 reads a few sentences or a paragraph of text. Student 2 comments on what was just read. Then the whole group discusses and they individually make margin notes. Step 3, student two reads the next few sentences or paragraph of the text. Then step 4, student 1 comments on what was just read. The whole group discusses and they individually make margin notes. Step 5, you're going to repeat the process, continuing clockwise around the group to finish the text. All right, and while you're doing so, I'll be working with a small group at my table. So please remember the rules of small group. You work quietly so that you're not disrupting the group, and no one should interrupt the teacher during small group time. Any issues you need to wait until after small groups. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson. Thank you everyone for listening. And please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Once again, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Please be on the lookout for other videos.